The artist, known as Anonymous, sits at the table, his hand poised above the surface, gripping a pen as if it were the key to unlocking the mysteries of the universe. He leans forward, his green hat with the blue feathers perched atop his head like a crown of contemplation, shielding him from distractions, funneling his focus. His eyes are alight, not with the mundane glow of ordinary life, but with an otherworldly spark, a force from Tir na Nog that crackles invisibly around him. It is as if the very fabric of creation trembles in his presence, waiting for his command, for his lines to give it form. The room is dim, except for the table, illuminated by a golden light that spills across the scene. The light feels alive, pulsing with intention, highlighting not just the tools of his trade, but the raw intensity of his purpose. The faint hum of an invisible current hangs in the air, a vibration that bridges the gap between thought and action. Words scrawled in the periphery of the scene, electricage, cuidado, seem to whisper secrets of both warning and power. There is a tension here, a sense that what the artist creates is not entirely his own, but rather a force channeled through him. His figure, bent in deep concentration, radiates a duality. He is both master and servant, both creator and vessel. Behind him looms the faint image of a skeleton, a spectre with a pencil in its bony grasp. It watches silently, reminding him of what lies ahead for all who live. The artist feels its presence, but does not fear it. Instead, it sharpens his focus. He knows that time is not infinite, that every stroke of the pencil carries within it the weight of mortality. The skeleton, far from being an omen of despair, is a reminder to create while there is still breath in his lungs. Art, he knows, is the only way to transcend the limits of flesh. Above his workspace, the faint silhouette of an angel stretches its incomplete wings. It hovers between the realms of the divine and the human, caught in a half-formed existence, much like the works the artist strives to complete. Its ethereal presence adds an air of sanctity to the room, as if the act of creation itself is a sacred ritual. Yet the angel is not whole. Its incompleteness, echoing the artist's own struggle to achieve perfection. Beneath its wings, the word cuidado stands as a silent admonition. Creativity is powerful, but it is not without risk. The artist treads a fine line between inspiration and obsession, between creation and self-destruction. His hand moves as if signing a painting. Bob. One B emerges as the pencil touches the paper. The lines emerge with a fluidity that speaks of something greater than technique. This is not mere drawing. This is summoning. Each stroke carries with it the essence of the artist's spirit, the distillation of his thoughts, emotions, and experiences. As the image takes shape, it becomes clear that the artist is not simply recording the world. He is building a bridge between the seen and the unseen, the real and the imagined. The act of creation becomes a dialogue with forces beyond his comprehension, forces that whisper ideas into his mind, demanding to be brought to life. This moment is not one of control, but surrender. The artist understands that inspiration is not a thing to be grasped or forced. It must be allowed to flow. He recalls the Zen teaching: to know and not do is not yet knowing. Creation, he knows, is not a matter of thinking, but of being, of immersing oneself so fully in the act that the self disappears. In this state, he does not create the art. It creates itself through him. The pencil becomes an extension of his hand, the hand an extension of his soul. The energy in the room intensifies. The word electricage seems to glow faintly, as if infused with the very charge that fuels the artist's work. He feels it coursing through him, a current that connects him to something infinite. It is both exhilarating and humbling, a reminder that while he is the maker, he is also the made. The work is not his alone. It belongs to the energy, to the inspiration that flows through all things. He pauses, staring at the paper before him. The skeleton looms closer now, its silent gaze a challenge. Leave only a trace, it seems to ask. The artist's hand tightens on the pencil, and he resumes drawing, his strokes more deliberate, more urgent. He is aware of the finite nature of his existence, of the ticking clock that measures his days. Yet this awareness does not bring fear, it brings clarity. He knows that his purpose is not to fight the passing of time, but to fill it with meaning. The angel's wing shimmers faintly, as if urging him on. The artist thinks of the Tao, of its teaching that the sage does nothing, yet nothing is left undone. He understands now that his role is not to force the work, but to allow it to unfold. The art exists already. His task is simply to bring it into the world. The glowing presence of the half-formed angel is a testament to this truth, a reminder that creation is not about completion, but about process. Words come to him unbidden. To create is to awaken. In this moment, the artist is fully alive, fully awake. The act of drawing is no longer a task, but a meditation, a way of engaging with the world that reveals its deeper truths. He feels the weight of the pencil in his hand, the texture of the paper beneath it. These small details anchor him, grounding him in the here and now, even as his mind reaches for the infinite. He thinks of the idea that the artist is not the creator of ideas, but their receiver. This resonates deeply with him. He knows that the images he brings to life are not entirely his own. They are gifts, fleeting visions that demand to be captured before they fade. The act of creation is an act of listening, of being open to the whispers of inspiration and translating them into form. As the final lines take shape, the artist leans back, exhaling deeply. The work is not done. It never truly is, but it is enough for now. He gazes at the paper, at the image that has emerged from his effort, and feels a quiet sense of fulfillment. It is not pride, but gratitude, a recognition of the privilege it is to create. The skeleton fades into the background, its message delivered. The angel's wing shimmers once more before disappearing, leaving only the soft glow of the workspace. The artist sets down his pen, his hand trembling slightly. He knows he will return to this pose again and again, for it is not just his work, it is his life. The act of creation is not a means to an end, but an end in itself, a way of being fully present, fully human. And in that presence, he finds something eternal.